Hey guys, it's Oluchi for Ways Breakfast. Thanks for always tuning in. Our research has shown that you're probably not subscribed to our channel. What are you waiting for? Make sure you hit that subscribe button below so you never miss out on our latest content and stay in the loop with all things Ways. If the channel grows, it means more great content for you guys. So hit that subscribe button now.
Nigeria, by extension Africa, battles a growing youthful population, and with little or no meaningful engagement, leaves a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on Ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say.
Before oil took the center stage in the 1970s, agriculture contributed over 60% of Nigeria's GDP and employed more than 70% of the population. Nigeria was the world's largest producer of palm oil, holding a 43% global share in the 1950s, and the groundnut pyramids in Kano symbolize its prosperity. Rubber alone supported over 5,000 jobs across several states and was a key export. I mean, it was really great because a lot of people got jobs. Now, today, the country imports over 600,000 metric tons of palm oil annually, and groundnut produce remains very low. Well, it's another episode on your favorite primetime show. My name is Mercy Eboko. Today, we will discuss why Nigeria's agricultural wealth has not ended poverty, and our guest, Bamidele Ayemibor, lead guest, I beg your pardon, a lead consultant at the 3T Impacts Consulting, will be joining me later. Remember, Ways is all about you. You are the why in the Ways, and so join the conversation every day, not just today, and add your voice to it, because this is the only way we can move our country forward. Now, all you can do right now, if you're asking, is that you need to head over to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV, hit the subscribe button, like, share, and invite your friends to join the show now. When we open up the phone lines, I really like to hear what you have to say about this particular topic. So, as always, I'd like you to ponder on my quote for today. People in Europe can barely farm for 3 months in a year, but we can farm 365 days in a year, and that's because of the climate. So I think that the governor was actually referring to the climate. It means we have no business in poverty. The Niger State Governor, Umar Bagodo, is quoted on that. We'll delve into this much later, but first off, I need to take a break. When I return, I would let you know what exactly is my news interest. Please stay with us.
Life is made up of moments, some that fill us with joy, others that test our strength. Welcome to Heartlines. This is our space to explore the highs and lows of human connection, the love, the heartbreak, and resilience that shapes our life. From relationships to friendships,
parenting to partnerships, and so much more. Every week, we share stories and conversations that define us, navigating love, separations, the struggles of parenting, dealing with anxiety and managing the pressures and stress of life. Real conversations that bring us closer, helping us heal, grow, and connect. So join me Mondays through Fridays at 10 p.m. for Heartlines, the show where we connect hearts, have real conversations with real people, one story at a time.
Welcome back. What are you saying? Hashtag Ways. If you just tuned in, it's another episode and it's good to have you join us. We have a lineup of an amazing conversation. First off, I'd like to let you know what is in the news today. Now, I found this one. The Senate has raised an alarm over the growing use of dangerous chemicals, particularly calcium carbon. I hope I got that correctly, by fruit vendors to artificially ripen the fruits and resolving to amending existing laws to criminalize such practice. Now, the use of this substance for ripening fruits is a major concern for public health, and it also a threat to consumers nationwide. Lawmakers are actually calling for more investigation into this ugly price. This is really sad. So I share my experience with you because you know how it is. We have to have balanced diet, whatever the conversation. But over time, I've been very worried about the kind of fruits, the food that we consume, the artificial insemination, if you like to say, because it is what it is, all of that. I miss the time of my grandmother because during that era, everything was very natural. Whatever it is that you consume, the mango, the orange, the pineapples, the apples, the guava. I haven't seen guava. I can't joke. I've not seen guava in Lagos. I haven't seen it. But I really do miss that era because I think that everything was just the way it was. Now, because we need to, it's a capitalist system. And capitalism is about profit. It doesn't really care about nobody. So then people go the extra miles to do whatever it is. But all of this have implication because there would always be cost and effect at the end of the day. And I think that it cuts across that everyone, all hands has to be on deck. We have to be responsible. You have to watch. So if you find your neighbor who is a fruit vendor or whatever it is that they're doing, and then they are cutting corners to get the fruit to be ripened very early, then you need to report them. Yes, you're not committing any crime because you're saving the lives of millions of people across. Away from all of that, another story that caught my interest is the fact that the President Bola Tinubu has submitted the 2025 appropriation bill for Rivers State to the National Assembly. Well, that's also a conversation that I'm sure that you've been following over the time. This is following the suspension of the State House of Assembly. If you don't already know, though, there's no governor. You don't have a governor. Fubara, who was an elected governor in Rivers State, is no longer the governor. So that's actually the case now. You have the fact that you have a military declaration. The president is actually the commander-in-chief, and the president has approved all of this. So it's more like a military government that you're experiencing right there in Rivers State. So, yes, the 2025 appropriation bill for Rivers State to the National Assembly has been submitted. Now, the proposed bill, so we're looking at 1.481 trillion naira budget, which prioritizes infrastructure. Infrastructure is going to go up 324 billion. The health sector would take 106 billion, including 5 billion for free malaria drugs. Education is going to take 75.6 billion, and agriculture will take 31.4 billion. Now, as fantastic, Now, fantastic knowing the steps, because I know that if you want to delve into the issue of the state of emergency that was declared in the Rivers State, it's a different conversation entirely. But let's look at the budget and look at the previous year. Overall, while the total budget have increased, the distribution across different sectors has shifted, with agriculture receiving a higher share and infrastructure seemingly or seeing a notable decrease, including education and the health sector. What I'm saying right here, which is factual, you can check that. If you juxtapose the 2024 budget and the distribution across different sectors in 2024 and what you have in 2025, there's a lot of difference. You find out that the education sector is receiving very less, the health sector is also receiving very less, and other sectors. So the difference is just that the budget is increased, but the distribution is quite different. And these sectors are very critical. Education is important. Yes, health is also important. Well, we leave that for another time. Moving away from Rivers State, let's go to Edo State, where the Edo State government has shut down a brothel found inside a primary school in Eshan West. Over 150,000 houses are also reported to be built on government land. Officials are advised to check with the Edo government for geographical information services before buying the land to avoid the scam. The government, I mean, what has actually happened is very unfair. So that's actually a public space, and the fact that you're having brothel is not safe. So yes, what is the positive in all of this is that the government's quick response in shutting down these brothels within the schools is a commendable effort. It shows that the government is committed to ensuring that public space are used appropriately for intended purpose, especially educational institution. And I would like to say that, you know, so when you have a conversation about Nigeria and why we are where we are, I'm not saying that other countries are perfect, but we know that over time is because we have been very vocal about the issues that are happening in our space. And so, again, you like to say that, yes, what's going on in Edo State is not very, I mean, it's not commendable. But again, what the government has done is also very commendable. And would like to say that the government effort should continue and all hands must be on deck because it's a collective effort. This is where we call it a wrap. And I'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll just head straight to the next conversation, which would be the crux of the show for today. Please stay with us.
Tell us you're a Nigerian without saying a word. Energy security is one of the most pressing issues for many developing countries like Nigeria. And if there's going to be any meaningful progress, addressing our energy issues is non-negotiable.
I need to see light for my house. Make them do something.
Band A is expensive. I literally have to turn off all my appliances just to reduce costs.
We need light.
Introducing the Energy Outlook, your go-to show for everything energy. Every week, we'll bring you the latest insights, innovation, and in-depth analysis of Nigeria's energy sector. From policy discussions to regulatory insights, we'll analyze the key decisions influencing growth and sustainability in the energy sector. We'll bring you the human stories behind the headlines, giving you a personal perspective on the broader energy challenges. Join me every Friday at 6 p.m. for the Energy Outlook, your guide to the future of energy, where energy means business.
Welcome back right here. If you just tuned in, it's your favorite primetime show, Ways, and my name is Messi Iboko. Today, we will be looking at the agricultural sector. I mean, the fact that we have all of the resources and what it takes to be prosperous. But then again, There's so much poverty, there's so much hunger in Nigeria. Governor Mohammed Umar Bago pointed out that Nigeria has a big advantage in agriculture because the country can farm all year long, unlike places in Europe where they can only farm for a few months due to the weather. Now, this makes farming a great way for Nigeria to grow its economy because prior to 2025, agriculture used to be the mainstay for Nigeria. It contributed a lot to the GDP of our country. But exactly what happened? How did we lose it? We're talking about food insecurity. There's hunger everywhere. People are very hungry. So much that's going on. And to be part of the conversation at this point in time is the lead consultant, Bamidele Ayomibor, who is directing at the 3T Impex Consulting. Right, Bamidele, thank you so much for being part of the conversation today. Hello, Bamidele, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Right. I can hear you very well. Thank you so much. We meet again. Yeah, I like that. Okay, thank you. So I really don't know, but I was really going to call out for that video. I'm not sure that we have it. We're supposed to just put out that video, but okay. So Bamidele, let's quickly take a look at this video, and then when we return, we'll just continue the conversation. Please stay with us.
All the factors of production are inherent here in Taraba State. And it was enumerated in the speech of Alhaji Aliko Dangote. You have the land, you have water, you have sun. People from the Euro will barely farm for 3 months in a year, but we can farm 24 hours, 7 days, 365 days a year. It means we have no business in poverty. So the government must be an enabler of businesses. You must provide enabling environment for businesses to thrive. You must invest in assets and capital procurement so that the private sector can concession and...
All right, well, you had that very well. Bamidele Ayemibor, we'll just get straight to the conversation. If we can farm all year round in Nigeria, why are we still importing food?
A very interesting, and it's good that this is coming from those in power, those in authority, those that can make the difference, those that can make a change. It's a good news that it is the people in power that are saying this. What I'm not sure of is if there is a political will and desire to do this, because I'm tempted to believe that the poverty in Nigeria is deliberate and is orchestrated by the political class to ensure that the people are impoverished so that it becomes a lot easier to manipulate for election. Because quite frankly, what he's saying is so true. And as we get into the conversation, we'll be looking at different models that government can adopt and what we are not doing right, what we can begin to do right, and what other countries have done that have made a space like this to be a wealth creation sector. Looking at Netherlands, if I were to use Netherlands for example, Netherlands export of agro-commodity, as small as that country is, you struggle to see it on the map in Europe. The population less than Lagos State is making over 120 billion in agro-commodity exports. It's literally the farmer of the European. We are not, it's much more than oil plus non-oil times 2 in Nigeria. So what he's saying is very correct. What I'm not sure of is if the political class are really willing to ensure this sector becomes the sector that will pull millions of Nigerians out of poverty.
So another question again, if you listen to Umar Bago, is the fact that he said that if you look at Europe, they can, because of the season, so it's more like a climatic or climate situation. And in Nigeria, it seems as though we have a favorable climate condition. I don't really know if he factored order, but what he said was that we can farm 365, right? And my question to you is that in Nigeria, do you think that we can actually get into farming for 365 days in a year?
Farming based on rain is primitive. We're in 2025, by the way. You can't be farming based on rain. But that's what happened for most of the subsistence farmers in Nigeria. We farm based on rain. How can you be farming based on rain? So that means when there's no rain there, you will not farm. It's like you are depending on nature to be able to farm, whereas some people create the environment themselves. So irrigation, we have water, we have sun, we have land. Irrigation makes it possible to farm year-round. So there is no reason why we can't have 2 or 3 seasons for a product that is 3-month cycle. 2 or 3 seasons. So it's very correct we can farm 365. That's what I say, and I'm repeating again, Mercy. Is the political class really serious about pulling Nigeria out of poverty? Or is it rhetoric for election? Or is rhetoric to be politically correct to be able to galvanize the people to support? We have to really question those assumptions, because it looks so obvious, yet it's not done.
But I'm also very curious, because every other time we hear that before oil actually took the center stage, agriculture contributed over 60% of the, of Nigeria's GDP and employed more than 70% of the population. I mean, that's a plus if you're writing an examination. So I've always questioned, and I'm sure because you're very, very patriotic and very enthusiastic about agriculture, what exactly it is that happened within that period that we're not doing now? What's different?
Government at that time, regional government, were making money from the export of commodities. This is the legacy of the military rule that collapsed everything, restructured the country, dismantled the regional government, have a unitary system that now make the government, local government, state government to be lazy, only depending on money being shared from Abuja. I mean, you will have heard about the story of Gowon saying, our problem is not money, our problem is how to spend it during the oil boom. Because at that time, we left agri, because the regional government who were depending on agri, from the granite pyramid in the north, from the palm oil in the southwest, and the cocoa in the south, they were exporting those products, which make us a major foreign exchange earner in those products, and generating forex from it, and creating a lot of jobs. But immediately, we found other means of making money, because the unitary system, and then oil had been found. Now, the government within the region are no more functional to be able to manage those investments. Then we now have the unitary system of the military, who would now send sole administrators to different states, and they have to give them money to be able to run the affair of the state, and that continue into democracy. That has made us to leave. So government support for agri is near zero, because the government is not making money from agri, because it doesn't need to make money from agri. In fact, the governor does not need to do anything. Imagine a father who will wake up and sleep January 1 to January 31st and still be able to feed his family. There's no incentive to work. That's exactly what is happening. And that's why the elections are very violent, because the money will come. Either you do anything, you do nothing, you will get money from Abuja, and then you'll be able to just award contract. Anybody can do that. It doesn't require any intelligence. And that's exactly why we found people in office who are really not interested in increasing revenue through agriculture, but rather have alternative where they'll be able to get the money to share.
Bamidele, are you saying that, the system of government that we're practicing is the reason why we're not flourishing in agriculture and we're not the experts? I mean, the groundnut pyramids and what have you. What are you saying is that the system of government is a problem? Is it the system of government?
Yes, it's a major contributor to it. It's a major contributor, which is why if the bill being proposed passed, such that the state now have to look inward to increase revenue from their state, maybe they will begin to think in that light. The system of government we are practicing contributes significantly to what is happening. Look, there is no incentive for a governor to develop the agri sector. If he doesn't develop it, he will still get money to build roads, to build bridges, to do whatever it wants to do, and even available to share. So why should he be worried about generating revenue? Why will he be worried about developing agriculture?
But let's take a look at, Burkina Faso.
Okay.
It's right now not a democracy, you can say. It's a military government. But then again, you could see the reports, you could see the testimonials, what exactly is going on in Burkina Faso. So would you still really say that the system of government is the problem, or is the people that are running the system? Yeah, no, I mean, because again, we have been told that democracy is the best form of governance. That's the argument over time. Why are you laughing? Democracy.
I don't agree.
I mean, Bamidele, let me land. So the argument over time is that democracy is, a democratic system of governance is better than any, the worst democracy, so let me put it as it is, the worst democracy is better than any military government. Now, if you look at the report and see what is happening in Burkina Faso with all of the testimonials, do you really think that, the problem that we are faced with, while agriculture is not the mainstay, is the system that we're practicing?
It's not the system. It's not the system. Even though I have an issue with democracy, I feel we need in Africa, we need a modified form of democracy to be able to achieve our objective. But what I mean the structure of the country, not the system of government. The structure of the country, not the system of government. But if I have to talk about democracy, the reason why Burkina Faso can do what they are doing, the person in charge is not there to steal money to make money for himself. He's not there to perpetuate himself in office. He's there to fix the broken country and to ensure they remove the shackle of colonial master who has strangulated their source of revenue. They've always had what they are making money from now, from agri to gold and minerals and the like. They've not just been able to get the lion's share of that money because of the people who have strangulated them from Europe. So it's not the system of government. So for Nigeria, I think it's the structure of government. There's so much concentration in the center. If we have the right people in place, because I'm still looking for a time we'll have a governor in Nigeria that will be a star. Let me tell you what my definition of a star governor in Nigeria. A governor in Nigeria who is able to galvanize the people in the state to be able to increase production, particularly in the agri sector, creating jobs and generating forex. That's the star governor I'm looking for. Creating jobs and generating forex. That's the star governor I'm looking for. I've not seen that. I've seen people building roads, building bridges, building schools, building hospitals, which is good. But we are not, to a very large extent, building the people and creating system and structure to be able to empower the people to become very, very, very financially independent.
Bamidele, let's be very logical here, because emotions has never helped anybody. So we have been told that democracy is the absolute best system of governance. And we have been told that even the worst democracy is better than the military government. And that's what,
But the fact, sorry to call to Messi, the fact does not prove that. We've seen monarchical structure in Middle East doing very well. So we can't say it's the best. On what basis are we saying that? On what basis are we saying that?
No, because the reason, Bamidele, the reason you and I are talking about this is because of what you said. From what you said is that, I mean, we're just going back to the drawing board and we're having a conversation and we're saying, hey, if in the 1960s and 70s, Nigeria was faring well in terms of agriculture, agriculture was creating jobs across different states, it contributed significantly to the GDP of the country, what exactly has changed? And you did mention that the regional government and the system of government that we practice was the reason. And so I said to you, could it be that the kind of system that we're practicing?
The structure, not necessarily the system.
Oh, so the structure.
Structure, not necessarily the system. Because even if the issue here is the regions were independent, the regions had to take care of themselves largely, the region were able to source for income for themselves, and they largely exported. Just think of any country you can say today is developed, Messi. Any country you can say is developed, from the US to the UK, any country you can say is developed, to Germany, to Japan, any country you can say is developed. Go and check it. Majority of those countries are major exporters in the world. Because to be developed, they need to make money. And they make those money by increasing their export, particularly value-added non-oil export.
So what structure do we have now in a system that is different from what we had in the 1960s?
A unitary structure that distributes money and make the governors unproductive. That make the governor not to be forced to generate revenue, but rather rely on sharing, which means if he does nothing, he will still have money to pay salaries. The structure is not incentivizing development. It's incentivizing laziness, it's incentivizing ineptitude, and it's incentivizing a situation where someone can have money every month, even if he does nothing as a governor.
Well, Bamidele, we need to take a quick break right now. When we return, the conversation will continue now. Don't forget that you can always join the conversation by sending an SMS or WhatsApp to the number 081-8038-4663, 081-8038-4663, SMS or WhatsApp to that number. The phone lines are open and you can call the numbers 070-25-0077 and 49 or 070-1424-24 and 20. Let's hear what you have to say. We'll take a quick break. When we return, the conversation continues right here. Please stay with us.
Tell us you're a Nigerian without saying a word. Energy security is one of the most pressing issues for many developing countries like Nigeria. And if there's going to be any meaningful progress, addressing our energy issues is non-negotiable.
I need to see light from my house. Make them do something.
Band A is expensive. I literally have to turn off all my appliances just to reduce costs.
We need light.
Introducing the Energy Outlook, your go-to show for everything energy. Every week, we'll bring you the latest insights, innovation, and in-depth analysis of Nigeria's energy sector. From policy discussions to regulatory insights, we'll analyze the key decisions influencing growth and sustainability in the energy sector. We'll bring you the human stories behind the headlines, giving you a personal perspective on the broader energy challenges. Join me every Friday at 6 p.m. for the Energy Outlook, your guide to the future of energy, where energy means business.
Hashtag, what are you saying? Thank you so much for joining us. If you just tuned in, we have been talking about Nigeria. I mean, this conversation is born out of the statement and reaction from from Umar Bagodo, who said that, hey, we have no business in poverty or being poor. If you look at us as a country, when you look at climatic condition, I think that that's really where that was headed and all of that. And then again, if you look at the resources, Nigeria as a country, we're blessed. We have all of the natural resources. We have everything. And then fast forward to, it's more like a throwback. So throwback to 1960, the 1970, whatever you, Nigeria was doing very greatly. Agriculture was just the mainstay for all of us. The granite pyramids, there's so much that's going on. But then again, you come here, granite is actually not, the produce is not, you know, significant. Nothing is happening. And therefore, we can't even export. So you have to be a boss in something before you think of exporting. So you have to be good at something before you can share with your neighbor. You have to have enough to share. That's what it is. We have Bamidele Ayomibo, who's actually a guest here with us today. So let's leave the conversation about the system that we practice. Yeah, you talked about the system and the structure. So we've talked about system and structure, and you said the structure is actually the problem. The structure is enabling laziness.
Part of the problem.
Part of the problem. Great, but let's go to the granite pyramids. It's something that I grew up to hear. Granite pyramids, and in Kano it was so much. What's going on? If you look at our produce right now, there's nothing to write home about. We're not even producing enough for consumption, not to talk about export. So where did we go wrong with all that is working for us? The climate is working for us. The land, so much is working for us. How come we're not able to produce enough that we can consume and also export?
Let me give you some statistics. Over 75% of Nigerian farmers are peasant. Less than 50% of arable land has been cultivated. There is insecurity on our farmland. We majorly farm during rainy season. 30 to 50% post-harvest losses. Low yield per hectare averagely compared to other parts of the world. Inadequate funding. These are supposed to be shortcoming, right? Despite this shortcoming, Nigeria is the fourth largest producer of cocoa beans. Nigeria is the largest producer of cassava. Nigeria is the largest producer of yam. Nigeria is the 14th largest producer of maize, 14th largest producer of rice, 4th largest producer of palm oil, 4th largest producer of fresh vegetable, largest producer of sorghum, 11th in tomato production, 3rd in peanut, 7th in pineapple, 2nd in ginger, 4th in sesame, 4th in cashew, 14th in soybeans, and 12th in rubber. Now, I deliberately took time to give you that statistic to say we are producing, we are exporting, we are not doing enough to be able to achieve our objective. We are producing, we are exporting. But look at those challenges. The fact that majority of the farmers are peasant, the fact that there are insecurity, the fact that we have not used up to half our arable land, the fact that we have a lot of post-harvest losses, the fact that we have low yield per hectare, Messi. Despite those shortcomings, see where we are among almost 200 countries, over 200 countries in the world. That for me is what gets me excited about Nigeria in terms of trade, in terms of export, in terms of agri, that if we can just get it right and we can get our acts together, do you know we can focus on one or two of those commodities and government can just support it? And there are models for this, which is already being implemented in the oil and gas sector. And we can generate a lot of forex every year from these commodities.
Hey, let's quickly look at some of the messages that we have. And if you're still listening or you can hear us right here, it's okay to send your message, SMS, WhatsApp to the number 081-8038-4663. SMS or WhatsApp to that number. Now, phone lines are also open. You can call 070-25-0077 and 49 or 070-1424 and 24 and 20. Let's hear what you have to say about these. Now, so this one says, it's from Isa Mohammed Rabiu. I hope I got the pronunciation of your name correctly. And he says, it's high time for Nigerian people to start change from their political in our mind and forget about the crude oil. Well, he also says all that you're saying is true. Well, that's it. So you also have another one. It says, what built Lagos was the fact that the federal government held its resources. So it forced the then governor Tinubu to look inward. This cap-in-hand government is a problem. Now, this is agreeing to what you have said already, that the structure that we have is not the system, but the structure itself is enabling our governors or the regions, even though we're not practicing like a regional government, I mean, so states, so you have all of these states, is enabling people to be lazy. So you have this one, it says, good evening, please help me ask the guest. Dangote exports almost all his fertilizers, and we are so food insufficient. Shouldn't we consume all the... Sorry, I have to laugh. Shouldn't we consume all of the fertilizers first before exporting what is left? Why?
Let me respond to that. You know, Nigeria is a very interesting
Bamidele,
country.
can you please hold and quickly, let's take this call and we'll come to your thoughts now.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Hello. Lawman, go ahead and call back if you can hear me. Would like to hear your thoughts on this one. Okay, so Lawman, you can call us back. Bamidele, go ahead with your thoughts then.
Nigeria is a very interesting country. You know, we are looking for forex. Exchange rate is Naira is depreciating because there's more demand for FX, and the demand for FX is making it very difficult for Naira to appreciate because we're not generating enough FX. It beats my imagination that Dangote has a factory producing fertilizer, petrochemical, PMS, but Nigerian state is importing PMS with the forex that is not available, that we don't have enough. Some states are still importing fertilizer. The data show some states are still importing fertilizer, not from Dangote. It doesn't make sense.
Bamidele, can you quickly hold that thoughts? We have to take this call now. Loma, thank you so much for joining us. Good evening.
Good evening, my beautiful sister. Good evening, our brother who is just analyzing things. You know, that I'm so much grateful to have such person on the studio. God will bless him for me.
Go ahead, Norman.
See, let me tell us one thing. Why is it that Nigerian agriculture was not ending poverty? Because it has been politicized. That is one thing. Remember what is happening in the petroleum industry. Because it is in the heart of few individuals, hard men, big men, they are now doing it. Why are we not having fuel everywhere? Why is the pump price not going down? Because it has been politicized. This is exactly what is happening in the agricultural sector. It has been politicized. These people, they now, okay, now look at everywhere. Come to the east. We have land. Go to the north. Go to the west. I'm telling you, we have all these things at our beck and call. But because they have now politicized it, and they want to make ordinary Nigerians to suffer, so that when it is time for election, they will force you, give you money for you to vote, so that you will not even remember that you're supposed to go into agriculture. So what I'm just saying is, the reason why it cannot end poverty is because the big men have taken it over, and it has been politicized. Until they depoliticize it, poverty will continue in this country. The same thing in the petroleum sector. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Loma. Bamidele, before you continue with your thoughts and some of the things that you raised, in the course of the conversation, you have also said that the spin demand for FX. I remember vividly, I can't really, mention the exact personnel that was involved. So this is what it was. Once upon a time, the demand for FX has been on the high, and so we needed to just, bring it down low. And so the CBN, in its own capacity, thought that they had to employ an expatriate. So they got someone from outside to come help us solve the problem. And the demand was also needed to pay in FX. So we didn't need to pay in the Naira. And so, I mean, it's just, so I kept on thinking, and I said to myself, does this make any sense? You are trying to solve a problem of the demand of FX. Then you have to employ someone, or you have to consult or engage someone that you would need to pay foreign exchange. Where are we going? It doesn't solve the problem. So, yes, I mean, I can allude to what you have actually said, that the demand of FX is on the high, and it looks as though we're also enabling the situation that we have on. But just go ahead with your thoughts right there. You've had the concerns of Loma, who's caught recently, and the thoughts that you have prior to this time.
Yeah, so, corruption makes you to do dumb things. You do dumb things. You should do things that doesn't make sense because you are so blinded with what you want to eat, and it doesn't even make you to think. That's the only reason why Dangote will have PMS. You don't have dollar, then you are going to use the little dollar you have to go and import. And you are claiming that the guy is having monopoly. Tell me one singular person who has invested $20 billion in this country, who is not in Nigeria. Who will come and do that into Nigeria, if not a Nigerian? And you're saying because he's trying to get monopoly, that's why you are going to go and use the dollar we have, rather than support others to be able to produce, to be able to develop, like Boa is doing, to be able to develop other refinery and make it work so you stop the monopoly. Then you are going to bring. So when you are saying people are, fertilizer, number one fertilizer he has is more than enough. We have to supply. It is set up, it's strategic to set it up in a free trade zone because it's going to do a lot of export. That's why it's in an export processing zone. So he's going to do a lot of export. But he also have enough capacity to meet Nigerian needs. But some people will not buy from him because some of the things and the ways they make money, they are not going to be able to do it with that organization. They would rather go and look for the hard currency to send that currency abroad to be able to do whatever they want to achieve. Because it doesn't really make sense doing that. But like I said, the real issue here, is, which is why the local content policy of the government is very good, very necessary, as in the fact that don't go and import anything when Nigeria is producing it. Maybe NNPC will learn from that and ensure it's not buying PMS from Dangote. Do not go and buy anything abroad if we are producing locally.
But, I mean, let's also talk about that. It's also very great to be very patriotic. But then again, we've also had cases where the same product that Nigerians are producing, and then when you patronize them, it's not the same. So you hear conversations saying, well, the quality is not good enough. It's not good. And so, yes. So, for instance, you have someone who's selling, I'm just looking for an example to cite now. So you patronize them and you find out that the quality of what it is that you're buying is not enough. For maybe rice, let's talk about rice. The rice that you buy is not the same as you're told to patronize Nigerian product, and then you buy the local rice. I think we always call it the Ofada rice or something like that. Right, so you buy that rice. You find out that the rice has a lot of particle. When you want to cook it, you have to select stones, you remove shafts, you remove so much. Now, when you were buying another rice that is not produced from Nigeria, it's free of stress. So you find out that in terms of the quality, people always tend to go to where, quality is high, especially those who have the capacity to buy. So how do you explain all of this?
That, there's a Yoruba proverb that said, Oribi bekolo ogori fifo. Cutting your head is not the solution to headache. You cannot say because the quality is bad. There is an agency called NAFDAC. There's an agency called SON. There are agencies. The president just simply needs to tell them to do their job. If you are not ready to do the job, leave the seat. Leave the seat. If we are producing and the quality is bad, we can fix it. We can fix it. The people can produce the right quality. The agency just need to do their job, period. It's not because those people cannot do job. Are you aware that Nigeria produces one of the best electric cable in Africa, and we are exporting it to different parts of Africa? We can do it. We can do it. So the fact that some people are not doing it does not mean we cannot do it. It's like there's a problem. Rather than fixing the problem, we don't have forex. Should we now impoverish ourselves, make ourselves worse off because we need to go and import abroad when we are producing locally? Why can't we fix this problem? Why can't we ensure people do what they need to do? Why can't we ensure that if the factory is not doing what it's supposed to do, shut down the factory so that other people can learn and then begin to do what is right? That would be a better way rather than using the hard-earned currency to go and be importing into the country and impoverish the nation.
Okay, so I have another one. It says that at the moment, farmers are not harvesting their cassava due to the crash in prices and input costs is so high. How are the farmers protected in situations like these to be able to continue to farm?
Very good question. That is exactly when I said the government is paying lip service to agree. That's exactly what I meant. When someone farms and the price go down and the government cannot guarantee price and support in that regard, do you know what some government do? They will buy off your product completely, store it, and then release it into the market when the price go up to crash the price. That's what government do. So they buy off. So if you say the price of that product is going down, it's a sign that the demand is not high enough. So that means we need to stimulate the demand. How do you stimulate the demand? Produce for the world. Remember, I said cassava. Nigeria is the largest producer of cassava and yam and sorghum in the world. So we can do a lot with cassava, from gari to ethanol to starch to many other things that we can do with cassava. Those are the things. So we shouldn't, because you know what will happen next time, Messi? This farmer, next time he will not farm cassava again. Next time you will see cassava price go up because many people will not leave that product because the last time they farmed it, they could not sell. They will not leave that product and go and do another one. And then that one, the price will not go down again. But if the government is in place, do you know currently Nigerian ginger, which is a major export product, the price is off the roof, over 15 million. Why? The per ton, which shouldn't be more than 3, 4, 5 million per ton. Why is that? There was a problem in the sector. There was a pest infestation that destroyed a lot of the crops. That means there are not enough harvest, which is supposed to form part of the seedling for the next season of cultivation. And that means seedling were purchased at a high price. Only few farmers farm ginger. Now the price of ginger is up. Now Nigeria cannot export ginger the way we used to do. And it's affecting what we can earn from FX. That is challenge on the part of the government. If there is a monitoring system, immediately that happens, the government is supposed to come in and support and ensure that they subsidize farmers to be able to get the seedling and be able to still farm that product next time and also fix the issue of the pest they have to ensure it doesn't repeat itself. That's why I said majority, particularly state government, are paying lip service to agriculture.
So, Bamidele, let's see if we can answer, the big question for today. Why is it that the agricultural world of our country, Nigeria, is not able to end the poverty that we're experiencing? I mean, despite all of the potentials, look at all of the statistics and all of the things that you're putting out right there, we can also see that the climates might be working for us. When you juxtapose that with other parts of the world, you can see all the factors. We have the land, we have the natural resources, they're all there. But then again, we are still very poor. We're still being described as underdeveloped. What exactly? Why haven't we been able, with the resources that we have, to end the poverty that we are experiencing?
The reason is because we are not trading, we are not producing enough and exporting to generate revenue and lift our people from poverty. Period. We are not producing enough. We are not exporting enough. Because when you produce enough, you are going to create jobs. When you produce enough to meet the global market demand, you are going to create jobs. When you create jobs, you are going to reduce inequality. And we are going to leave more people out of poverty. So what do we need to do? Increase production for the purpose of exporting to generate foreign exchange, creating jobs, and reducing poverty, and also increasing the revenue of the government.
Bamidele, thank you so much. It's been amazing. But before we go, let's quickly take this one. I feel like this, this comment is here to press my neck. It says, Messi, 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 oh, our rice is healthier and richer than any foreign rice. But do the Nigerian people know that our rice is healthier and richer than any other rice? Do the Nigerian people also understand that our meals are better than some of the imported products that we have, especially your spaghetti, your noodles, and what have you? Do they know that the akpu that you swallow, the fufu and the gari and the melon soup and the afang soup is healthier than your noodles and what have you? Well, it's not for me. But
that is the job of the National Heritage University have a budget. He's supposed to be promoting all this so Nigeria can buy Nigeria.
What? The Orientation Agency?
Yes, NOA, National Orientation Agency. They have a budget.
Bamidele, we have to go. You see this one you've just said is a very big issue because I grew up at a time where you listen to the radio. There's always some advertorial saying there's something about telling you, oh, you don't need to dispose your waste here, you need to do X, Y, Z. But that has really changed. And it's very unfortunate that across different parts of the country, not just the federal government, in every state, there's a what is it called again? Orientation Agency. There's a budget that's allocated. There's a lot of monies and funding for these ministries and agencies. But then again, you ask yourself, what exactly is going on? It just makes me remember the likes of Akunyeli, Dora, blessed memory. May she continue to rest in peace. Thank you so much, Bamidele. It's been an amazing conversation, and we look forward to having you, subsequently to talk about more of these issues. I do appreciate you, and thank you also for tuning in and being part of the conversation. Now, if you don't already know, it's okay to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's at Official Upgrade TV. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and most importantly, we'd like you to follow our social media platforms for engagement, so you can actually like, share, and comment, and invite your friends and family to watch us and follow us. If you missed our quote, here it is. Here's what it has to say. Now, people in Europe can barely farm for 3 months in a year, but we can farm 365 days in a year. It means that we have no business in poverty. The Niger State Governor, Umar Bago, is quoted on that. I'll see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. All things being equal and God helping us enjoy the rest of the evening. My name is Messi Ebokpo. Do have a good evening.
Nigeria, by extension Africa, battles a growing youthful population, and with little or no meaningful engagement, leaves a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say.